Okay, you're welcome to FD Sciences. So today we'll be treating on the intestinal and tissue dwelling protozoa parasites. So starting with Sarcodina. Sarcodina or Amoeba, like you learned earlier. Sarcodina can also be called an Amoeba. And this is the subphylum we're going to be treating. Then the species we're going to be treating under the subphylum is the Entamoeba Histolytica. So we're going to discuss on the general features of Entamoeba Histolytica. The first is the presence of nucleus. The Entamoeba Histolytica has a nucleus which is covered by endosomes and chromatide bodies. Then, coming to the second, we know that the Entamoeba Histolytica is like divided during encystment. Then what is encystment? Encystment is the period in which the parasite has a coverage shell at unfavorable conditions or weather conditions. This happens in also Entamoeba Histolytica. That is example. This happens in Entamoeba Histolytica. That is encystment. Encystment, that is coverage of shell. Then the third is the presence of chromatide bodies in the cyst. In this cyst stage, what is cyst? Let me start with the meaning of cyst. Cyst, like I said earlier, encystment, that is coverage. Then cyst is the form of the encystment. So the Entamoeba Histolytica possesses this form at the encystment stage. So during this stage of encystment, they have chromatide bodies which exist in the nucleus of this cyst. Then the fourth is the presence of vacuum, which helps in storage of glycogen and other things. Then what you should note about this is that at this stage, at the cyst stage, which is the encystment stage, the vacuum disappears. Then we are going to be discussing on the different species, other species of Entamoeba Histolytica, which are the Entamoeba coli, Entamoeba hartmanni, gangavalis, and pollecki. So these Entamoeba coli, Entamoeba hartmanni, and gangavalis, these are the parasites of man. They are specifically for men. So let's discuss on the life cycle of Entamoeba Histolytica, also known as E. histolytica for the short form. Then we're going to start with the external environment in which the cyst exists. So in the external environment, there is presence of the infective cyst. This infective cyst, this is the stage in which, whenever you hear of the infective stage, this infective cyst is the infective stage. And what is the infective stage? The infective stage is the stage it gets to the body of the human host or any host at all. It gets to the body of the human host and starts functioning as a parasite. So now, the infective cyst, the infective stage of the Entamoeba Histolytica is the infective cyst, also known as the quadrinucleate cyst. Then, it gets to the human host through fecal oral route, that is through the mouth. And when it gets to the human host, it exists. When I mean exist, I mean it removes the shell. It removes the shell of its body in the human, like in the large intestine. It exists in the large intestine, here, large intestine. Just know that when it gets to the human body, it moves to the large intestine where it does what you call existment. Remember that it's different between existment and encystment. So here, a large intestine, it exists its shell, which is the cyst. And then, as it's going out through the colon and other parts of the large intestine, it comes out as cyst and is being passed out as physics. So this is the life cycle of Entamoeba Histolytica. Then coming to the disease form of Entamoeba Histolytica, we have it is known as the amoebiasis. So let's discuss on the pathology of Entamoeba Histolytica. We are going to discuss on the pathological percentage and the disease symptoms in Entamoeba Histolytica. So first, at the percentage, we have 10% of infection and 90% of infection. Let me explain. At this 10% of infection, whenever one is infected with Entamoeba Histolytica disease, which is known as the amoebiasis, it's only 10% of people infected show symptoms of amoebiasis. while 90% shows no clinical symptoms of amoebiasis. Then coming to disease symptoms of amoebiasis, which is being infected by Entamoeba Histolytica that we are studying now. So, at first, one disease symptom you should know about is that it introduces what we call the low abdominal pain, that is pain in the stomach, which is caused by the multiplication of this Entamoeba Histolytica, and also at this encystment stage of it causes low abdominal pain. Then coming to the flag-shaped ulcer, this is also one symptom of one having amoebiasis. So, how this flag-shaped ulcer is caused is when the Entamoeba Histolytica probes or moves into the mucosa and submucosa of the intestinal walls. When I mean mucosa, I mean like this. Assuming this is the intestinal, here is called the mucosa and here is called the submucosa. So as it passes this stage, it invades the body of the walls of the intestinal, causing the flag-shaped ulcer. Third one is the liver abscess. Liver abscess happens or is a symptom of Entamoeba Histolytica, which also, one symptom you know about this liver abscess is that it causes yellowish eye. Then coming to dysentery, during the process of this mucosa stuff and everything, there is blood that comes off as it invades the walls of the intestine. So this blood moves through the large intestine and comes out as feces. Also involving the mucus. This mucus is formed due to cyst. So at this stage, remember that there will exist at the large intestine. So when there is a cyst at the large intestine, the whitish stuff covering it can as well be found in feces. In this case, okay, sometimes they will tell that it's critical to have a trophozoite found in feces, but you can still have a trophozoite found in feces in Entamoeba Histolytica. But that is very, very rare. Then coming to the blood, like I explained earlier, it is being formed as a result of this invasion caused by Entamoeba Histolytica at the intestinal wall. So discussion on diagnosis, treatment, epidemiology, and prevention and control of amoebiasis caused by Entamoeba Histolytica. So coming to the diagnosis of amoebiasis, this can be formed. Amoebiasis, which is the infective stage known as the quadrinuclear cyst, can be found in the stool sample or can be diagnosed using the stool sample method. So in this stool sample method, this is the viewing through the microscope of a semi-formed feces or a fully formed feces, the Entamoeba Histolytica cyst known as the quadrinuclear cyst. So when you view it on a microscope, you can see the samples of the cyst moving around in the feces. Then coming to the second method known as the rectal scraping. This is the scraping of the rectum. You can also find or diagnose Entamoeba Histolytica, which is known as amoebiasis, through rectal scraping. Then coming to the treatment, the best drug prescribed for this treatment of Entamoeba Histolytica. Then coming to the treatment of Entamoeba Histolytica or amoebiasis, we have the antibiotics, which can serve as treatment method. Then the tetracycline, used as bacterial adjuvant, which stops the formation or further increase in Entamoeba Histolytica. Also, we have another choice of drug, which are the derivatives of this tetracycline, known as the onidazole or tinidazole. So these are other derivatives formed from this tetracycline, which can also serve as a source of treatment. Then coming to the epidemiology of Entamoeba Histolytica, so they can survive in enzymic and acidic conditions. You know that in the stomach, we have high acidic condition in the stomach. So for Entamoeba Histolytica to survive in this form or in this state, it means that they have the pre-adaptation to survive in enzymic and acidic conditions. Then, Entamoeba Histolytica, which is known as amoebiasis, which this state is known as amoebiasis, can be transferred to human host through asymptomatic carriers. Example, the houseflies. When I mean asymptomatic carriers, I mean the organisms which the infection doesn't show in their state or in their state of living. Example is the housefly. Then coming to the poor hygiene, as you all know that poor hygiene attracts infection. So we need to keep our environment to prevent this particular disease known as amoebiasis. Then prevention and control, like I said earlier, poor hygiene. So what can we do to eliminate this amoebiasis? By cleanliness of the environment and also washing of hands before and after eating.